to convince everyone it's better to buy investment pieces. A single mom who makes minimum wage and has 4 kids, maybe she wants to do that, but that's not possible.
Right.
So, there's so many factors that go into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it also goes down to like taking care of your clothes. Like how many people are throwing items in the dryer that shouldn't go in the dryer or need to be dry cleaned. And so they're destroying their own clothes. It's such a nuanced, like wide conversation. And I think that's what makes it so hard, because the fashion industry is so unique in that every single person on this planet has some sort of relationship with clothes. Even if you're a nudist, like you have some sort of like thought process about apparel and garments. And so because it is so widespread, like, and it touches everybody on this planet, it makes it so difficult to tackle, and it makes so many different conversations relevant, and it means that we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people do have different values. Like, obviously all of us here in this conversation can see the value of implementing sustainability, but how many like celebrities or influencers, they see the value in having an outfit of the day and getting the latest new thing. So, it's hard to control everyone's values.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't.
Exactly.
I mean, you can do so much to show, but you can't. I don't know. There has to be more hands-on stuff, like there is with like teaching kids to garden. It's like, we obviously got rid of home ec and everything, but it's like, when do we teach people how to wash clothes properly, make them last longer? Like,
that's what was my thesis was on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, literally laundry behavior.
That's amazing.
And people would get so curious about it because everyone does laundry. And when I told them doing laundry less is better, people were so happy to hear that.
Yeah, but also most people don't think about it or even read the tags, right? Like just everything goes in the washer, everything goes in the dryer. I worked with a lot of different Italian factories, and they're like, we don't even own dryers. Like they hang dry everything in Italy or in China. And so it's a cultural difference then too. And so then we're looking at that where like when I buy socks from an Italian manufacturer, they don't even think about the fact that these could shrink in the dryer because that's not part of their culture.
So when we're talking about care labels, they've been around since the 1970s, and they're on all of your garments on the inside. So pay attention before you cut them off, because it shows you how to properly wash and dry your garment. Whether you pay attention to them too or not. But sometimes you have to be careful, because sometimes it's going to address one fiber in your textile rather than the textile as a whole, or leave out some percentages. So here is the symbol care sheet. So this is very important because sometimes it's hard to access this. Sometimes you have to pay to access a lot of the AATCC and ASTM standards. But this is your thesaurus, if you will, of laundry samples, symbols, which is very important. And for how much heat, the delicate cycle, for example, like this was on my textile quality product assessment final, was to define one of these symbols, and it was a delicate cold cycle. So it was this guy, and then there was a dot in it. Here's the temperature. So more dots, the heat. Triangle is bleach. Square is dry, iron, and again, dot is heat. And solvent or not solvent, the length of your cycle, the circle with the line. Left would be shorter or reduced, and right is heat, just like a shower nozzle. Make it hotter or colder. So when you're talking about drying or washing your clothes, you want to think about what's soluble and what's not, which for soluble solvents that we use every day would be juice, coffee, salt, and water. So you have to hit it with something that's soluble, which would be a hydrophilic soil removal. Same thing if you have a stain that's insoluble, like oil, blood, coffee, lipstick, all of that. Which the best thing to get out of this is Dawn dish soap and Shout, or shampoo also works really well on blood stains. And that's because it's to target that insoluble substance like oil, because shampoo strips the oil from your hair. So this is how laundry works. The hydrophilic tails attach to a stain like this, and then with agitation they're able to remove that stain. So this is what your soap does. Attaches the stain, lifts off the fabric, and some only work best in cold water. Like, for example, my Tide allergy only works in cold water, but some work in warm water. Like if you're using a powder detergent, that only works well in warm water. Some defects can happen from snagging or finishing being incorrect, or fusing, or washing over time. Seams can slip. Even if tension looks fine, over time it could loosen, turning into one of these. So you can have a defect if you didn't have a defect originally. So it's definitely something to consider when you're purchasing. Check your seams, and even if they look good, they could slip eventually, depending on if the thread was the same content as the garment, which a lot of times it isn't. Like you might have a synthetic thread with a natural fiber or blend shirt. Well, those are going to shrink at different rates and cause more agitation. So you're going to have more inconsistencies with your garment and shifting seams. Like the side seam might swivel. It might fit different over time. All of that, whatnot. So I go back to this one. Speaking of that, with washing over time, pilling, we get to pilling, which is really important and irritating, and is the point. Everyone wants to get rid of their garment, and of course you can shave your garment or all of that whatnot to keep your garment better, living longer if it's your favorite. But it happens mostly because the natural fibers are scaled and synthetic fibers are short, but to their core they're smooth. So when you have that scaly rubbing against the smooth, it agitates and it creates that pilling, because there's also agitation in the machine when it's washing. So just pay attention to, if you're paying $30 or $40 for something that's a blend, it's gonna pill a lot faster.